Welcome to Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. I am Rich Spicer. Katie Huckle is back not in the passenger seat, riding shotgun here today. We missed you last week, but man, we had such a great interview with those kids.
Amazing.
Those not Footlighters kids, those Footloose kids. And it was a great show. Sorry you missed it. Sorry, I gave you some bad information as far as the time goes.
And here I thought you were perfect.
No.
What?
Sometimes I miss appointments.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And but we didn't miss this appointment today.
Right.
It's fun to be able to talk about summer things in wintertime.
Yes.
Even though this winter has been a gigantic disappointment and for people who love winter.
Right.
We're going to talk about summer things with Mary Galvanek today.
Hey guys.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. It's so fun when I see you because my favorite thing in the whole world is fresh produce. And so when I see you, I think of fresh produce.
I love that. That's what I want you to think.
Okay, good. Yeah, she's a trailblazer, Rich.
Yep. And so we're going to be talking, we're going to be spending the next 29 minutes or so talking about the Cadillac Farmers Market, which is growing and expanding, and this is the vision you had for it a few years ago, isn't it?
It honestly really is. The Cadillac Farmers Market is coming back 2024, bigger and better than ever. We're fine-tuning things. Mm-hmm. We're really giving the community what they want. Mm-hmm. We do have children's activities through Kate King with 4-H, and also Jam and Bread is stepping in to kind of teach kids a little bit about music at the market. So that's going to be fun.
We've had Marla on a few times, and she's a life force just like you are.
And Kate
yes,
King
we love her.
Kate King as well. Yep.
I mean, who would you rather have your kids with than these ladies?
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
learning things and having fun. They don't even know that they're learning things because they're having so much fun.
We do have a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And the children's activities are something that booth will be there all throughout the day. So you don't have to pressure yourself to get there at 11 or 1, to take part in it. You can just come on over and walk through the market and enjoy those children's activities at your leisure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an opening day picked out?
May 17th.
May 17th.
So that's almost a month earlier or 3 weeks earlier than we have been doing it. But we have found that our local farmers are very talented at growing seedlings for your garden. Okay. And that is another wonderful outlet for sales for our local farms. Okay. So we are coming to you at May 17th. We are bringing all of the seedlings for your garden. We all know June 1st is that big garden planting date for the big general summer garden plants. And you can come down to the Cadillac Farmers Market and get your plants this year from local farms, grown from regenerative seed. Really, that's what we're bringing.
Oh my goodness.
What makes growing from seedlings, local seedlings, different than going to a store and buying a packet?
Well, there is a lot that makes it different. So when you do go to the store and you buy a packet, first off, those packets are wildly expensive. I was at the store the other day, $3.79. We actually just partnered with M.I. Gardner. He's the big seed guy in Michigan, down in St. Clair.
Okay.
Right? So we are bringing his seeds to the Cadillac Farmers Market. Excellent. Where you can shop for your seed there. And his seeds are $2 a pack. 20% of the proceeds from all of his seeds through our link online, which you can find in our social media, or just from purchasing at the Cadillac Farmers Market, goes right back to the forest and farm kids and the garden that they are growing this year.
Oh, my goodness. You know, Mary, I had someone ask me prior to the interview, where did she come from? And so for our listeners that don't know where you came from and where all this incredible knowledge came from, can you tell our listeners a little bit about your background?
For sure. I actually grew up in Hoxeyville. Okay. So on a beef cattle farm. I always say I've been working since I've been walking. My great-grandpa actually grew a gigantic garden where he could fit the grandchildren inside of his pumpkins. I have fond memories of me and my two cousins, Kim and Aaron, fitting inside of a gigantic pumpkin when we were maybe 4 or 5.
Wow.
I always thought his garden was magical. My mom had a giant garden as well. I was always told that I was the child out there eating the dirt. So I guess I loved it since I was a babe. And so growing up on that beef cattle farm was something that inspired the love for farming, for knowing where your food comes from. And then I went off to Atlanta and I ran a vegetable basket delivery program called Vegetable Husband. So it helped farmers sell their surplus in a delivery basket system. And we're actually implementing one of those here in Cadillac this year, which we can talk about. But I also went to Atlanta to do that. And then after Atlanta, we went to Denver. And in Denver, I managed Golden Acre Farm, which was the largest inner city farm feeding the population of Denver. And so we kind of guerrilla gardened people's backyards and had little plots everywhere. It was really neat. We were able to, with Jay Plotkin was the main farmer there, and we were able to grow so much food in a place that was kind of a food desert, because in Denver, the cost of living is so high that you can't actually afford to farm your land with taxes and all the things. So we did that, and upon coming back here, I noticed that we also exist in a food desert, which is wild. We live inside of an agricultural community, but we also live in a food desert, a place where people out in Harrietta or in the back roads of Tustin may not have access to fresh local food 365 days a year. Whether it's transportation issues, whether it's mobility issues, or financial issues, they are really struggling to get fresh food. And when they do, Walmart is their choice. So we know that nutrition is very important. And in our food, over 50% of the vitamins and minerals leave that piece of produce within 24 hours after it's harvested. So when you're buying your food from a big box store, you can guarantee that it has half as much produce as when you buy your food from a local farmer that harvested that this morning or last night for market. So as we can see that nutrition is a big deal, we want our children to be healthy, we want our elderly to be healthy, and everyone in between. Getting vitamins and minerals into our bodies is literally how we're going to do that. So that's a little bit about my background, a little bit about my passion, a little bit about why I'm doing what I am doing. And I would also love to tell you about Farm to Home.
Well, yes, we want to hear about it.
So Farm to Home is a brainchild of the entire community at the Cadillac Farmers Market. So at the Cadillac Farmers Market, at the end of a Tuesday, our farmers still have a few things left to sell. And so do they on Friday. So we are going to take that surplus, as well as other amazing produce from Forest and Farms Gardens, and we are creating a vegetable basket delivery program. This program is going to be able to accept Senior Fresh, Project Fresh, EBT, Venmo, cash, check. There is not a single form of payment that we cannot take. And we are going to make sure that we can help those people that are out there with mobility issues, our elderly housing complexes. We really want to get to that really busy mom who works 9 to 5 and just can't make it to our market. But she wants that fresh food. And we want to get to everyone and anyone who wants to be a part of our local food movement. So I believe that Farm and Home is going to do that.
Oh, how exciting. I mean, when you talk about produce in the summer, there is nothing better than a freshly picked tomato out of the garden. Nothing.
Yes.
I had a friend recently tell me, I eat tomato sandwiches in the summer. And I said, oh, you mean like a BLT? And he said, no, tomato sandwiches. Bread, butter, tomato. There's nothing better. So
that's my favorite. It's actually bread, mayo, tomato, salt and pepper. That's just it. A little bit of microgreens from Basho Bean Farm down at the market. So delicious. We want everyone to know how amazing that is, how sweet those carrots are when they're pulled from the garden a few minutes ago, the snap in the bean when it's only a couple hours old. So we'll be able to harvest Tuesday morning, run market, basket up things and with your food is on your porch within 24 hours of when it was harvested. Ooh. And that's pretty amazing. And then it's also helping our farmers because our farmers do not want to take their surplus and throw it in their compost pile. And of course, they donate it, but even the donation stations can only take so much of that fresh stuff. So this is going to be another way to just add a little bit of silver linings in the pockets of our farmers.
Very nice.
So how will people have access to this? How is that going to work?
Well, I would love to invite you all to come down to the venue on February 17th.
1 week from today. This is
Okay.
February 10th.
No way. Is it really?
Yes.
We better get on. We were just creating the logo today. We got to get our pitch together. It is a Shark Tank event. So it's local Shark Tank, not the one you see on TV. But there are 6 people that have been chosen to pitch their business ideas that can help the community. And then there are local investors that are going to be there who are going to invest, hopefully, in farm to home and help us get this basket delivery system off the ground. I am so excited. And there is already a wait list of like 45 people. Now I'm realizing I might have to fill 60 baskets a week. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So we're getting the seeds from Michigan Gardener. He has been amazing. Luke down there, who started this seed company in high school, he is a true asset to us up here now as well.
Sure.
One of the most local places to get your seeds. And so we're ordering our seeds. We're starting to hit the soil with the seeds. We've got winter sowing going on. The greenhouse soil is being amended. We're ready to fill these baskets.
Oh my goodness. How innovative.
It's a wonderful idea. Where did that idea come from again?
I love that you asked me that, Rich, because it came from one of my food heroes.
Okay.
And her name is Margie Thorpe.
Okay.
Margie is one of the most amazing women I've ever met in my entire life. And Margie, I hope you hear this. She actually started Vegetable Husband down in Atlanta. And she created these wonderful, beautiful relationships with local farmers and also with her customers. She ended up having a huge add-on list of things like honey, bread, eggs, everything you can imagine, cookies, anything that the farmers wanted to sell. So we hope to add that to our basket delivery system as well. And I've been talking to Margie for the last few years, telling her, I'm not sure if it's time to launch this yet. I really want to. How do I know? Right. When do I know? And she said, you'll know when you have enough interest and energy. And it's definitely right now. We have a lot of interest.
Well, you've built this. You've built the market to be this warm place where it's more than shopping for vegetables. It's community.
That's exactly right. I was just on the phone talking about that earlier this week for quite a while, that the vendors at our market offer such a wonderful sense of community. They love to stand up and talk to their customers and share planting tips and cooking tips and crafting tips. And so, you can see somebody's over at the Chico's taco truck and they're signing that truck up for their kids' graduation this year. And then you've got someone interested in a job at the Cornerstone truck. And they're not just getting coffee, they're making connections and creating community. And it is very important to us as the market becomes very competitive that everyone who joins us has that sense of community and pride that they want to grow and share this market with not only Cadillac, but all of the surrounding towns and truly the entire state of Michigan.
You mentioned 2 new food trucks are going to be joining the group. Who's coming?
Yes, we have the Twisted Fork, which is really, really yummy. And so this is like fine dining experience meets food truck. So we're really excited about that.
Ooh.
Of course, we have Chico's and Cornerstone. Those are our staples. We love them. We will never stray from that. But on Fridays, June, July, and August, we will have an additional food vendor. So I'm not sure if you guys have had Barron Barbecue. So Joe Barron, I believe he is one of our firefighters here in town, and his daughters wrestle on the Cadillac team. But he just is this amazing barbecue. I haven't tasted it, but I can tell through the smell. All my time in Georgia, I know a barbecue by smell. So I have him coming. He was the #1 requested from the community. He has intoxicated all of us downtown a few times with the smell of his barbecue. And how much more local can you get than a firefighter for the Cadillac Fire Department coming down with his side gig? I love it.
Oh, yeah.
So he's coming as well. And then there will be a couple of surprises.
Okay. Wonderful.
I'll roll those out on social media as they get me more info.
Where can people interact with you on social media?
So we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok. We, of course, have a website. There's a new thing, Threads and Meta. Emily does most of that. I guess I'm aging out of the new social media forms.
Seriously, you could you could hire someone and they couldn't cover all the bases. I mean, and I'm sitting next to Katie, who is a social media refuser. She does not do social media.
Oh, really? Good
She
for you.
She has no social media, which in some ways is kind of cool because no, seriously, I spend way too much time on social media. However, for the people who do, and that's a lot of them, there are so many different ways to get your message out than there used to be. And
That's
you almost
true.
have to hire somebody full time to cover all those bases.
Well, it's insane just to come up with the content to keep, because you're supposed to post however many things a day. And I will say, though, as we don't have a large budget for advertising,
Right.
This is free advertising. So when we click the post button right now, our social media goes out to 100,000 to 200,000 people.
Incredible.
We are a hair away from being paid for our social media work. And I did. I hired Brandy Waltemeyer when I first started the farmers market because I didn't know what I was doing. And I learned from her quickly. I've taken a few classes. We've got the YouTube University. But social media is really the place to find all of the information about the market. You are going to see who is coming each week. You are going to see, what's coming in the weeks to come, what food is in season for you right now, and so much more on our social media.
And for people like Katie Huckle, you can use the radio.
Perfect. I love
And
the radio.
everybody knows if you need to find out anything about the Cadillac Farmers Market, you can definitely email us at cadillacmarketmaster@gmail.com or just give me a call at 231-920-2971 and you can get a hold of me by phone.
She is very approachable and accessible.
This is year what for you, Mary? 4?
I think so, yeah.
4th year?
Yeah.
So tell me about the growth year over year of the farmers market.
Honestly, it can just keep your passion and love for a local food movement alive. The community is really what lives and breathes this market. When all of us wonder, like, oh, I'm so tired. I've been harvesting for 3 full days. Can I make it through the day? The smiles and the hugs down at market that's how you know. But really, our first year, I think I had 8 vendors on Tuesdays and 17 vendors on Fridays. And now we are looking at 44 plus 4 outside on Tuesdays. And that's just all the city will allow us to have. So we'll grow past it and start using the park down by the fountain in the next couple of years.
You're limited on space right now. So you're saying, though, that the option is on the table for you to move to a larger place if needed.
Well, I don't think that we would move necessarily. I think that it really helps the downtown businesses. I think that it really helps Cadillac in general. It's putting us on the map, like social media wise. And I think that it's very helpful to have it at that building. So I really hope that continues year after year. But I think that the next growth would be to also include the park with the fountain, the city park, and so we could have like 2 different experiences, right? One of them is going to be a bodega market shop, right, for food and things farm. And then we could also have another location that's going to be for children's activities, live music, get your face painted, come and do balloon animals, crafts and story time, and just kind of make it more of a community gathering space, and then also a market attached. I would love to see that happen.
Almost like an overflow.
Yep.
Okay.
So your vision eventually is to have all your food vendors in one place and all your non-food vendors in a different place?
I think it would actually...
And when I say a different place, I mean just across the street, so everything's walking distance.
I would actually like to keep all of our vendors together.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would like to keep all of our vendors together because we are better together. But I think that what we could do is all of that community stuff, booths for the foster parenting, booths for diabetes. We have the health department come down and pass out different things. I think that with those activities, and then we have people approaching us for, like I said, balloon animals and face painting and children running around and all of that. I think we could move all of those community outreach programs to the park and keep the farmers market where it is.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm thinking in the next couple of years.
If the growth continues the way it has.
Yeah. We also, I would also like to plug all of the markets around the area. So you are going to have a million ways to shop local with a million different farms, right? So you have our market on Tuesdays and Fridays from 9 to 3. You've got the Veterans Market opening up off of Boone Road on Saturdays. And I also heard that Lake City is going to have something on Thursday evenings.
Nice.
So I know that for me, I want to go to all of them.
Sure.
And I'm sure that everybody else will too. Yeah. And it's really just about shopping local wherever and however you can.
I made a pact with myself, Rich, when I found out we were going to get to talk to Mary, that this summer I'm going to go get the rest of my groceries after I go to the farmer's market.
That is such a beautiful way to do it. I mean, I love that. I think everyone should shop our market first and then go and get the other things that you can't find at our market. I want you to have quinoa.
Yes.
I want you to have coconut milk, and pineapple too. And there are some things that just don't grow locally here.
Right.
But shopping at our market first will definitely make sure that you are doing everything that you can to support your local farms. What a beautiful idea.
It is. Speaking of local farms and people who know what to do with local produce, she brought some treats for us today, Rich.
She did. And I found out that you are a fellow dill pickle fiend, just like I am.
I mean, that's money right there.
Yeah.
Well, Julian is our pickle guy on the farm. So he takes his cucumbers very seriously.
Oh.
We grow at least 6 varieties a year. And then he also grew the dill, the garlic, and if there's any onion in there, he grew that too.
Incredible. It's like the perfect food. It's got a little crunch. It's got a little punch. And we each get our own jars, but I was going to slip yours in my purse and hope you didn't notice that.
Well, there's more where that came from.
We don't have a webcam in here, so I am hiding my jar of pickles over outside of your reach, Katie.
Boo! There's also her homemade apple butter and her homemade blackberry jam.
That's Grandma Sherry's apple butter and blackberry jam, which... And you don't want to mess around with Grandma Sherry in the canning kitchen. I think we're going to start teaching some classes down at the market on how to can your food. My mom actually has a canning kitchen in her garage, separate from her home, just for canning, dehydrating, preserving. It's amazing. And I must have hundreds of quarts of food from my garden that Mom helps me put up each year.
I am so jelly, pun intended. I am so jelly about that canning kitchen. That's awesome.
She's amazing. It's wow. She made pate the other day and taught Gabby and Heath from Toadstone Tea how to make pate. And she even gets like the pig's head from when I get the pigs butchered. She gets the head back and makes like head cheese.
Oh, yeah.
There is just nothing goes to waste at Grandma Sherry's house. And she turns everything into delicious. So
we need to have Grandma Sherry on the show.
We do at some point. Yeah, for sure.
Next time.
Yeah.
So May 17th is your starting date. Your end date, does that kind of float depending on weather and your supply of things? Or you don't really have an end date necessarily in mind, right? Or do you?
I do. It would be right around Halloween.
Okay.
That's what I say. Or until Mother Nature allows.
Okay.
Ooh,
that's our
good.
slogan.
Okay.
Because really, if there is a hard frost, we may not have a lot. But there are mushrooms, there are microgreens, there's so many more farms and bakers and different things coming to the market that our market may actually become or be able to withstand some of the winter. And then, we have our giant greenhouse from the NRCS. And there's quite a few other farms that are getting those grants and putting in those greenhouses. So the NRCS did that to lengthen our growing season. And it does. It's 6 weeks ahead and 6 weeks after, usually.
Can you talk about the process of the NRCS, what that is, and how they played a role in getting your greenhouse up?
Yes. So there is a grant through the NRCS that you
Which stands for what?
It's the National Resource Conservation Service.
Okay.
And so you can call your conservation district, Wexford County Conservation District, or if you're in Misaki, whatever, and they will get you on the phone with somebody who can explain to you all the ins and outs of the greenhouse grant. And so they do several other things. We actually got our cover crop through that exact grant and a pollinator patch. And so what they're doing is they're giving you some money, and it's a retroactive grant. So you have to pay for that greenhouse up front, and as soon as you have it put up, they will refund you that money. And that's been just such a wonderful resource for our farmers. So you may see our growing season might start stretching a little longer, a little sooner and a little later. That'd be amazing.
Were you surprised when you received that grant?
We really were, for several reasons.
Okay.
We just threw it out there. We threw a lot of things out there just to see how to apply for a grant and to just start learning. Oh, bless you. And to just start learning. But we were so surprised because they called us and told us that we did not get the grant.
Oh.
And, we had gotten a few grants already, and so we were feeling good about ourselves, and you can't win them all. Right? And so it was all right. But then a few months later, they called us back and told us that someone who did get the grant could not, put up that greenhouse right then. Oh. So we were actually chosen on the second round. And it was quite a roller coaster. It was like, oh, we didn't get it. Wait, we did. Yay. And we put it up in the middle of the winter, and I think I was 3 months pregnant when we did it. So it was a wild time.
Oh my goodness. But aim high, miss high. Dream big, and your dreams come true.
You have to dream big. And this whole thing started with a dream. The farmers market was here in Cadillac for a very, very long time, and had dedicated leadership. But it was a small, very small group of people. And Mary came and brought some new energy to it. So, and
I've learned so much from all of the people that you guys know and love over the last 40 years. Miss Gloria, we just absolutely love everything she brought to market. Her flowers, her hugs, her smile, everything. Last year was her last year. Okay. And so in her retirement, we are going to continue to carry on this farmers market in her honor. She will always be the queen of the Cadillac Farmers Market. And I just hope that, one day I can do just as much for this community as Gloria has.
You brought a car full of kids with you, and we have not heard any of them. And I think the longer we go, the more likely it will be that we will. So it's a probably great time right now to just circle back and give the dates and give the who, what, where, when, and why, Mary, in the minute or so we have left.
Yes, so please come on down to the Cadillac Farmers Market this year. We are opening on May 17th for plant sales, and we are operating every Tuesday and Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You are going to have children's activities on Friday. You can get a hold of us at CadillacMarketMaster@gmail or call 231-920-2971. Definitely sign up if you're a vendor. Now is the time. The vendors are flying in, and I want you to have a seat. So all of these vendors out there that are listening, please email us, call us right away. The spots are filling up really fast this year.
And 1 week from today, support the idea of the farm to home at the
venue.
Shark Tank event.
Yes, Shark Tank event, the venue. Get your tickets. It buys dinner and a great time supporting local entrepreneurs like ourselves, and we would love to see you there.
A few months from now, we'll have you back when you're getting ready to open. Does that sound good?
Yes, there are so many more things to tell you. I know we'll have a lot to talk about.
Sounds
Mary,
good.
Thank you so much for all the community that you brought to the community. You're helping us be healthier, eat healthier, and live healthier. And what that does is lifts the quality of life in Cadillac.
It sure does.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for constantly supporting us and being a rock that we know is always there for us. And thank you both, Katie and Rich, for everything you do for this community as well.
Mary Galvanek has been our guest on Cadillac Unscripted. Katie, we'll see you next week for more local chat here on 107.9 CDY, sponsored by Independent Bank.